All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Blame Your Brother, episode 245. Thank you so much for checking the show out, whether you're watching live right now on YouTube or whether you're checking the podcast out on Friday morning. We appreciate it. We have many things to discuss today. Today, Mount Rushmore of coolest band names. Maybe not necessarily the coolest bands, but the coolest band names. So I'm very excited about that because I have no idea where John's coming from. He probably doesn't know where I'm coming from, so it's going to be fun experience there. And things are happening in the world, of course, as always. So, but we'll get to all that in just a second. We'll introduce ourselves first. I'm one half of this show. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, voice of the people, Glenn Jackson, Mr. 40%, the spiritual midget, Mr. Wonderful, and I'm sitting next to this gentleman here. His name is John.
Hey, everybody, John here, a.k.a. Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the Madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do have a madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
All right, so David, John, Blame Your Brother. Yes, episode 245 is in the chat. That is a crazy number when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, if we just laid those out episode to episode, that's days worth of listening. It's crazy to think about. But, hey, we're here. We're doing
I
it.
met somebody recently, and they said they're going to try and start with episode 1.
Oh, wow.
So good luck to you, sir.
That's going to be a weird journey because we've changed. I mean, I know I have.
Drastically.
I've changed
just, political views.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, we started off where I was the only one with kids. You both became, Lee used to be on the show. My brother used to be a co-host with us, but he became a father. You had kids. Like, everything's just changed a lot since we've been doing this for, 6 years now, I think, or something, or 5?
5 years.
5 years. So it's quite a journey, but, we're still continuing to go, and we'll keep going till we can't. So, All right, well, let's talk about last week. We went and saw the Counting Crows at the Franklin Amphitheater. So I will just talk about the venue first. That's the first time I'd been. I guess the first time you'd been. It's kind of a new venue, but located in Franklin, Tennessee. It's an outside amphitheater, and I absolutely love this place. I think it's just beautiful. Just the ambiance of the night was great. Now,
it was like the stage was cut out of a mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like everything was just kind of carved out.
Very cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
And it started to rain before you got there. So I got there early because my wife was like, we're going to get stuck in traffic. I was like, just, okay, whatever. We'll go early. We got there early. It starts to rain. It's thundering. I'm like, no, this can't happen. Like, there's no way this can happen. But the rain stopped when you got there. And I want to say.
You're welcome.
Thanks to John. Let's talk about the Counting Crows fan base. Now, and this is not, they were not opening with a prominent band, so every fan there was there to see the Counting Crows.
Yeah.
I found out later that Dashboard Confessional was there in the show, so I thought that was pretty cool. So there were probably a couple of celebs there as well, but we were sitting a little bit further back. I guess they were like way up front. No telling what those tickets cost. It's really unreal to think about, but I cannot name a band with a different just set of fans.
They were just all over the place.
I mean, you had frat bros, you had hippies, you had people tattooed from like shoulder down. I was looking at these people going, what? These people are Counting Crows fans? You had old people, young people, soccer moms, just dorks. It was insane, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I guess I never realized this, but I mean, most people, when we bring up Counting Crows, John, they are not fans. You've noticed that when people come on the show, like, no one's ever been like, oh, I love those guys. Like, and I've always wondered, like, who is the Counting Crows fan base? And I don't know. I still don't. I left there not knowing. Like, I know I'm a fan. I know you're a fan.
Yeah.
I don't know who the average fan is, but what'd you think of the show in general? I mean,
I don't know if it was the fact that just it's been that long since I've been out to see live music, or what. I mean, they didn't play a lot of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
But
what are some of your favorites? I know you love Anna Begins.
Anna Begins my favorite.
What are some other songs that were not
played?
Yes.
Murder of One.
Okay.
Einstein on the Beach.
Yeah. That's a B-side, but yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Mrs. Potter's Lullaby.
Yeah, that'd been a good one. That'd been a good song.
I mean, to name a few, those are.
It was a different set list than the last show. I mean, obviously they repeat some of the same songs. Of course, they're going to play Mr. Jones. Of course, they're going to play Round Here. Of course, they're going to play Long December. Of course, you're going to get the hits, right?
I was looking at my Facebook feed from the past, and the last time we went to see them
was that same day.
Also on the same day.
How weird is that? I did not bring that up because I forgot, but that is the weirdest thing. Like, it was 4 years ago to that day we had seen the band.
Yeah.
I mean, they played one of my favorite. Miami's one of my favorite songs they played, which I think is a staple now. But I thought Adam Duritz was no dreadlocks, which was something new. And I thought he was it was like almost a different person than I've seen them. I mean, 4 or 5 times. And each time it's been like a different version of Adam Duritz, lead singer, and you find out he has dissociative identity disorder. So it's like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense then, like why you felt maybe you were seeing different people. But I felt he looked refreshed. He looked like he was just like learning the music for the first time and like really enjoying it. He was really, and at a part of some part of it, he started talking and telling stories. I'm like, I'm here for this. Like,
I could do this all day. Yeah.
If he just talks for the next hour, I'm in, because he's very funny. Like, I didn't realize that either, but he was very. Yeah. I told you he had a podcast for a couple years, and I listened to it, and I just was like, this is dull. I mean, like, I don't listen to a lot of celebrity podcasts. I think because of that. I think I've always when I like an artist or I like this, sometimes you just want to know a little bit less about them. Like, sometimes you learn about
that thing about meeting your heroes.
Yeah.
And so I mean, when you get to a point where there is no facade, you're like, oh, you're this person.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
right. But I mean, he was very engaging. I thought they sounded great. Their guitar player is underrated. Like, some of the solos he writes are some of the best solos in rock music. Like, I'm not saying I'm not saying he's like a noodler or he's not Eddie Van Halen, but man, just the tasteful tone of his guitar solos, the space he gives them, I just love him.
It gives new life to the songs when he starts playing those solos. Yeah. And it's like, but it fits in with the song at the same time. It's just like, it's like having another kid.
Yeah.
For a family. If a song is a family.
Yeah.
That's what that is, and it fits, and it's just great.
Yeah, and I think they obviously have a great rapport. I mean, which has gone, the existing band. Now, they did play the entire new EP. I honestly, I don't know. You're going to find 2 bigger Crows fans that are not fanatics to me and you, but not that great of an EP. I mean, it's good, but it's not like. And I understand.
There's only one song that's like, I would say stand out, and even then.
Right. But I understand you're there to support the new EP. I get it. You got to play the new songs. I would say if they keep touring over the next 10 years, maybe they play one song off that EP at best. But, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. They could continue playing. So that was a good time. Had a blast. And, it was easy getting out of there. Got home in a good time.
That was remarkably easy.
Yeah, because
I don't think I've ever left a concert.
Yeah.
They gotten out as easy as I have.
They had it going on. So if you're thinking of going out there, and because the first show they had, it's just open in the last month. The first show was terrible. I mean, traffic was 2 hours to get in, 2 hours to get out. People were missing entire sets of the band they came for. If you're thinking of going, go. They have figured it out. I told my wife, I said, they will figure it out because they don't want to lose money. Once people lose money, they will figure things out.
Yeah.
So that was a fun time. I'm so glad we got to see him, and we're going to see him again at some point because we got another show, if it happens, booked in the near future for him. So it's always good. Okay, so anything going on with you with this week? I know last week your kids started school, which was a big endeavor, and anything new to report, or is it just same old, same old?
Yeah, not much, but still, we still haven't decided on a new car yet. We haven't gotten the figured out exactly how much we're getting for.
Still,
yeah.
This has been like 2 weeks now.
Yeah,
going on 3, right?
Yeah.
And what's the holdup? I don't understand.
I do not know.
Huh? Insurance. Gotta love it. Well, like I said, maybe you're healed up now, feeling much better.
My back still hurts. My hand's fine now, though.
You went back to the doctor, though.
I haven't gotten a chance to go back to the doctor yet. I'm thinking maybe next Wednesday.
Okay. Well, definitely get that done.
Yeah.
Well, I talked last week, TikTok, after we got Shane Morris on. He's like, you need to get on TikTok. I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Like, I don't think I'm going to like this experience. But, John, I'm addicted right now to this platform. I think it takes the best parts of Instagram and what used to be Vine, and I think it kind of puts them together for this kind of creative outlet for people to make funny videos, informative videos, stupid videos, and you can spend a lot of time on that app, because it's an app that I will explain what TikTok is. A video app where you can make videos with music, with effects, sound effects. You can duet with other people. You can do all kinds of things. And I think that it's starting to become the thing now. Like Twitter, I don't get on as much anymore, but now TikTok, I'm on like every day. And what they do, it really enhances it, is that when you get on there and you like stuff or you watch stuff more, it'll start giving you that content that you like. And that's Facebook does it too, but this is very like dialed in. So if the first time you get on there, I know people think, oh my God, what is this stupid stuff? But if you start, as Clay, the guy I work with, he said, if the more stuff you like, it will start dialing stuff in for you. So I've been making videos on that. I love it so far. How long I do, who knows? I do love creating content, podcasts, videos, but I think this is good because even doing like a 2-minute video can take you like an hour or so, because you really got to, multiple camera shots, you got to put it all together. So if you're not following, all that to say, if you're not following us on TikTok, just go to TikTok and search Blame Your Brother and we will come up, follow us, and we'd love to follow you back. I know we're following Glinda, a few other listeners of the show, so it's fun. So there we go. Yeah, and that, this past week, not much. I was supposed to go out on the lake Saturday, but that got postponed. So, it's just life just moving along, it's so unfortunate. No news stories this week, but we'll, I'm sure something will come up in the next week. We'll see. But we got plenty of other things to talk about. So one of the big stories this week in the news is obviously the Afghanistan Taliban situation. We've been battling Taliban for 10 years now, right? 20 years. Yes, 20 years.
20 years.
I'm sorry. Wow. You're getting old. I'm just like, oh,
well, yeah. 20 years like in the news.
Yes,
but it actually went back to...
Right.
It's more like 30 years because they were responsible for an attempt to blow up the
94.
What
was that?
Empire State Building.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and they had there was the bombing in the garage. So, yeah. So, anyway, and I would say if you look at Vietnam, look at any other war, if you're not winning a battle in 20 years, I applaud the decision to leave. Now, there's been some complications, obviously. Was it handled the best? I would say most of us can probably say no. Because you got to think, we went and occupied this area. We trained people to be against the Taliban, right? We honestly, we went in, we told these people, we got your back. We're going to train you up. We're going to help you get rid of all these people. Then the Taliban get back in. And this is crazy to me. It's like, well, you're on your own now. So good luck, guys. So the craziest video that came out this week, and I read all about it, but they had a plane leaving. There were guys getting on the plane as the plane took off in the air and plummeted to their death. So they had to have known that to stay there is almost a death sentence.
If they're like trying to get on the plane that drastically.
Yes. Yeah. And so they're trying to get the American citizens out first, of course. And then they basically said, well, if you're with us, if you're an ally, if you can get to the airport, we'll let you leave there. But that's hard to do when Taliban is all in the streets, man. It's like, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
It'd be like, John, there's rioting going on in your neighborhood. There's people that will kill you if you come outside this house. But, man, if you can get to the airport, you're good to go. You're like, well, is that really a fault? So they asked the Taliban, are you going to honor this? And they're like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know much. This Taliban claims they are not as extreme as previous.
Al-Qaeda?
Yeah, they're not what they used to be. They said they will allow women's rights based on what is in their holy book. So I'm not, I've read about the Quran. I have not read the Quran. So I know there's some sketchy details in there about women. They said women would be allowed to go to universities, learn, but I don't know what else goes with it from there. I know from what I understand of the Middle East, and if anyone wants to correct us and send us an email or, social media, not the best place to be a woman is what I've always understood. This is not that's why I keep saying, like last week we talked about that kid that was accused of, he peed on a Bible when they were holding him on blasphemy charges, which is like death. Could be a death sentence. It just doesn't seem it's a very good environment. That's why, as bad as things are sometimes, occasionally something will happen somewhere else where you're like, all right, I mean, we're not perfect, but hell, we're better than that, So I don't know. It's a crazy situation. People are saying Biden did it wrong. Trump got on I guess Fox the other day. I don't know. I just saw clips on Twitter and he was, surprised criticizing him. And he's saying, he could have done it better. And it's like, well, you had a chance to do it better. What do you mean? You could have done it.
Could have.
Yeah, no,
why didn't you?
You literally could have done it and you did not. So, they're attacking Biden. I'm like, look, I don't think we needed to be there in the first place. I think at some point you have to say, this is not a war we can win. Like, we cannot win a war in another country where these people are literally set up. This is where they live. This is their home base. So what are we doing there?
Yeah, I don't think you can win a war when the objective is for you not to be there in the end,
right.
End result.
Yes. We're going to come in, establish our form of government, and then
then we're just going to bounce.
Democracy does not work everywhere. I know people think it does, but it doesn't. I mean, you can't have a dictatorship for hundreds and thousands of years and just come in and go, well, it's democracy now. It's not. It doesn't work like that. I know it worked here in America, and that's probably the rare exception.
Well, the thing is we start from scratch.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So that's different. And also, even before then, they had the Parliament, which, I mean, the Parliament has quite a few similarities with our Congress.
Yes.
So
that's true. That's true. So yeah, so that I just, man, I can't imagine being so fearful for my life that I'm like, hey, I'm going to jump on this plane, and so they were trying to
I make it or make it.
They didn't make it. Spoiler. They were trying to get on the wheel thing where the wheel would go back into the plane, but they fell off. And there's video of a guy just plummeting. Like, you're like, well, that.
I saw that video, but at the time they didn't know where it was because it was in the distance.
Yeah. So it's not like, if you haven't seen it, I mean, you can go watch it, and it's not like a guy getting beheaded or anything, but it's the mental image though is pretty insane. So I don't know what these guys are about. I mean, obviously we're gonna have to keep an eye on them. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I think anytime. I mean, we keep an eye on North Korea. We keep an eye on. We're probably keeping an eye on China. We're keeping an eye on all these places. Like Russia. I mean, I understood. Like, we're keeping an eye. Like, hey, man, you can walk up to the line. You can't walk over it. So, it's just, and you can imagine these military people were over there. They probably had made friends with the Afghanistan people that were, ready to change. And that I do feel that's a kick. It's a kick in the nuts, dude. I mean, to tell these people, I just can't imagine. I cannot imagine.
We got your back way back
in America. So that was one of the big stories. Another big story that came out today is OnlyFans, which we talked about when Lee was on the program. We talked about OnlyFans, which is, okay, so OnlyFans is a site. I'm going to try to describe this as best possible. I know most people know, but some people don't. You'd be surprised. OnlyFans is a website. Now, this is the boilerplate of it. It is a site where you can interact with people you're fans of, hence OnlyFans. So if, let's just say, Roman Reigns is on there. He's not, but Roman Reigns is on there. I'm a huge Roman Reigns, a wrestler fan. I can pay to get exclusive content. Okay, that sounds cool, whatever. I mean, cameos, you can get shout outs from celebrities. There's things like that. But it took a turn. It turned into an adult-oriented business, where there was basically, so they've said today, nudity will be okay if it follows your standards, but anything past that, now, I don't know what's going on this website. I would imagine X-rated things, obviously if they're saying that. They've announced today they're done with all that. It's kind of crazy that, see, this is kind of like Afghanistan in a weird way, because you have encouraged these people to do this for the last year or 2 years. You've encouraged them to do it. You've built your entire platform on this idea.
Because they were making money.
Right. Are they not making money anymore?
They're probably got people bearing down on them.
I guess. But
saying, "Oh, you guys started this, so you better fix it."
But I can't think of people that have quit their jobs. I know I've seen this on social media. People said, "I quit my job. I'm an OnlyFans model. I'm making $75,000 a year easy." Some nurse actually got her job told her, "You either quit, you quit OnlyFans or you quit this job," and she quit her job. So where's she at now? Where do you go from there? I mean, it's essentially like cam girls. If you come from our age, cam girls used to be this thing in the 90s where you could pay to watch. I'm
sure they're still out there.
I'm sure they are. You could watch girls on camera and pay, for shows, one-on-one shows or whatever. And it's like that. I just think, there's two ways you can look at it. Some people say, it's sex positive. It's doing great for these people. But, it's if you jump into an investment that's just started, you never know what you're going to get. Like if you jump into a company that's just getting off the ground and you're kicking money into it and there's no proven track record of the company, there's a chance you're going to eat the money at some point.
Yeah.
There's millions of stories like it. American Apparel was a company that did the same thing. WeWork was one of those companies.
They're all not going to be Amazon and Google.
No, most of them are going to fail.
Yeah.
By definition. So it's going to be interesting to see. I would know this. If I had a lot of money, I would be right now. I would be with a team of people going, we're going to grab all those people and we're going to start the next step because someone's going to do it. And that's the thing with all this. Someone out there is going to pick up the pie and they're going to run with it, and they're going to make the money. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But that was a big story since we talked about in the past. And then I want to ask you about this. We talked about the Williamson County mask mandate and, crazies came out, obviously. We know that. That's nothing new.
Yeah.
But this week, a beloved country music star liked a post of an alt-righter who was at the meeting saying, masks are evil, masks kill people, they're no good, we don't need them, blah, blah, blah. Carrie Underwood liked one of these posts. And obviously there's been some fallout from this. Now, I'm going to ask you because I've got a way I look at it, but if you like a tweet, let's say we became big stars, we're famous, and you like a anti-mask tweet, you like the tweet. You don't tweet anything about it, you don't quote tweet it, you don't put anything else out there, you just like it. And people obviously monitor this. I don't monitor, I wouldn't know who likes what. I'm always I'm astounded when people are like, this person liked it. I'm like, how do you know that? Do you follow these people every day and I guess people's job is to do that probably. Where do you stand on it? Should she suffer consequences for liking this tweet?
I would say overall no, because we don't know exactly why.
Okay.
Now, maybe her cousin was one of the people in the video. Maybe, there's a whole lot of things that could have been.
And she has not, they've made no statements about it at this point.
That's wise.
Okay. Yes, we've said that.
Had I been in her shoes, if I was famous, I probably wouldn't like anything that's any way, shape, or form going to be have a number of naysayers.
Yeah.
Either way, and so.
I agree with you. I think this is a very important issue right now. I think this is a matter of life or death at this point. If you let's just say issues come up. Should you fly the Confederate flag? I say no, right? That's my opinion. We live in this country where if you or Joe Blow over here says, I believe in it. All right, man, that's your thing. You can do it. I don't like it. All right. Who cares? There's a historical context to it that I don't agree with, but some people say, you've heard the arguments. Who cares? This is a matter of life or death we're going through right now. COVID cases are going through the roof right now. If this is a stock, this is the hottest company in the world. There are 5 states now where their hospital beds are full. They are full. No more. Tennessee's getting dangerously close to that.
Alabama, I believe, is one of them.
Florida's one of them.
Yeah.
And I think the bigger issue there is that you as a celebrity in this day and age have to know that anything you like, anything you retweet, anything that you lend any kind of credibility to, what the consequences are going to be of that action.
Yeah.
This is a thing. You can't just put your head in the sand and go, oops, didn't know. No, this is the business we're in. You can't do this, and so what it does is it exposes her potentially to her fans or people that are casual fans of her that she's an anti-masker. Obviously, like I said, once again, I disagree with that. But, this is America. I mean, at this point, you can, it's not illegal right now not to wear a mask. It's ill-advised. But, so if she, number one, you've got to come out and you've got to make I think you do have to make a statement. I think for you not to make a statement is cowardice. I mean, you made the action. Now, if someone runs that account, then chop their head off. Or even better, just say someone runs your account. They liked it. You had nothing to do with it.
They're fired now.
Dust is done.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the damage is done at that point.
Yeah.
But not making a statement only allows people on podcasts to talk about it, allows people at work to talk about it, allows people who said, I used to be a fan of this person. Now, if I liked Carrie Underwood, would I stop listening to her music? No, I would not. But I've already said that. The art and the artist, short of them coming out and, being a pedophile or anything that, but even then, Michael Jackson. So who's to say? But
I mean, if they said these songs are about pedophilia,
yeah,
then you'd probably start backing away.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, for sure. But I just think what a foolish move by this woman who could have been, from my understanding, like the next Dolly Parton of her era. I mean, she is beloved. Like you couldn't find hardly anyone to say. But I know she was doing some things that I thought were kind of silly along the way, and I'm not a fan of hers. I think she's a great singer. I think she's got some great songs, but I'm not a fan. It's not for me, But she had a scar or something on her face from, I don't even remember what it was from, and she was tweeted out, "Oh, I just look horrible." I'm like, horrible? You look exactly the same. You look like a freaking supermodel. What are you doing? Yeah. I can maybe understand that. Okay, yeah, everyone's beautiful. No, the beautiful people have to take accountability for their looks. I know that's crazy, but no, it's true, man. And we've talked about this before. We live in an era where attractive people get by with more things because they're attractive. Because we see someone that's good looking and we go, they've got to be a good person. Which, I mean, fundamentally, it's probably the opposite. Like, truthfully, I mean, they're probably like the terrible person deep down. If you can imagine, if you get everything handed to you your whole life just because you look a certain way, I'm talking male, female, whatever the case may be, after a while, that's got to get in your head, especially as a younger person if you get it, So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I just think if I was a celebrity, if I think we were celebrities, I would probably just come out and I would come out and say I'm anti-mask. So maybe I'm knocking her, maybe a hypocrite. I mean, if she feels that way, I just feel you got to come harder with it though. Like Clay Travis, don't like the guy. I think he's a clown, but at least he will let you know where he stands on it today. I mean, he may change his mind tomorrow, but at least he owns it. This is cowardice.
I mean, I guess I'll say that because I don't really have anything that's like groundbreaking as far as the way I view things.
Right.
I don't understand anti-maskers.
Yeah,
I just don't. I don't get it. If you don't want to wear one, that's fine, but don't call someone who is wearing one a coward. Or all that.
a child abuser. They're calling them child abusers.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's wild to me. I can't wrap my head around it. Like I say, because you do so many other things. I was listening to a Bill Burr clip today, and he summed it up. He always sums up things where I'm like, damn, why didn't I think of that? But he was on the Conan O'Brien podcast, and he's like, do you believe in this anti-vax thing? He goes, it doesn't really make any sense. He said, now why would they want to kill their sheeple? These are the people that are going to do what they want them to do. Like if they're killing them off, they're going to get the other people that hate them and go against everything they stand for. So what would be the point of killing off all their people? Yeah. What would be the point? It's stupid. It makes no sense. It makes none whatsoever.
It makes more sense to have a disease that would kill off their enemies.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
So the government at that point would just tell almost if they want that, just don't tell anyone to wear a mask and just assume that, some people will wear a mask and those people probably will be the ones you want alive anyway. It's just weird. Glenda says in the chat, Carrie Underwood fell. That's right. She fell and had to have plastic surgery. She stayed hidden for a while, then she finally came out about falling in the surgery. So I don't know. It's very weird. But yeah, the mask thing continues. It's continued to be a brouhaha. Bill Lee basically released something that said parents can just opt out. No reason whatsoever. Just you opt out. You don't have to wear it if you don't want to. And I just think for children who are a certain age that do not have the chance to get vaccinated, you're just playing with fire. Like, I understand, like, they're saying, well, you're going to get it either way. And yes, that's true. Like, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it. And I understand that. I think the mask would cut down on that, obviously. But let's just look at the 98% of the people that, get it bad and survive it had the vaccine.
Yeah. So
basically, if 8 people are vaccinated, well, I think the numbers are 8 vaccinated, 2 unvaccinated. Those 2 people are dying every time. It's like, it's a crazy rate. So I don't know where that's going to go. Who knows? Political games.
I mean, in a situation where it's virtually impossible to social distance, i.e. school, I can't understand why someone wouldn't want their kid wearing a mask.
I don't either. But I think you can't tell me what to do.
My son's 5 years old, and we make sure he has a mask.
It's just giant. You're not gonna tell me what to do. It's like, dude, are you crazy? You live in a country that's literally governed by laws, like all kinds of laws. Like, I know we keep bringing up, but the damn seatbelt law.
Yeah.
I looked up the statistics today because I was curious. I was like, what are the odds of dying in a car accident because you didn't wear your seatbelt? And it's like 1%.
I want to hand some of these people like some poison and be like, don't drink that.
Yeah, right. I would thin the herd for sure. Okay, so those are some heavy topics. We're watching now What If on Disney Plus. I've been reading reviews. The latest episode was about what if Black Panther became Star-Lord. Okay. Good concept, fun concept. But I've been reading some reviews on the internet and people, but not fans. So John, give us your take on the latest What If episode on Disney Plus. What if Black Panther was Star-Lord?
I watched it, and if I were to come up with a complaint, the only complaint I could come up with was some of the fight scenes were inconsistent. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And it's cartoon. So
right.
And they also have to build the suspense and drive in like 20 plus minutes.
Right. Yeah.
As opposed to having 2 hours
or 15 movies.
Yeah.
I mean, really, when you talk of Marvel, that's really like multiple movies to build basically to the end of a story. This, like you're right, the show has 20 minutes to do it. 20 minutes to build the world, build a new world that you're not familiar with, but with the same characters. You change personalities, you change the situation. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. As far as I liked the first episode, I got to be, I love this episode.
So you liked the second one better than the first one?
Yeah.
Truthfully, I loved them both. I did not think I was going to like the series. I saw it and I went, I don't know about it. I'm going to watch it, but I loved it. I'm looking forward to this show now because I remember it takes me back to, I read What If. I read it every month it would come out. I read it and I loved just the idea of these different worlds you could build, And I think it asks some interesting questions. And even at the beginning of the show, it says, basically, do you control what you do? It's basically saying, do you control or your environment controls it? And I think that's always been a question about life. I think it opens like life questions. Like,
well, there was always, nature versus nurture.
Right. Which one wins?
Yeah.
And maybe it's a combination of both. I really don't know. I think if we had grown up in California to wealthy parents, we would be completely different people.
I'd agree with that.
100%. It's just, but maybe part of you is still built into you. I don't know. We'll never know because there's really no way to ever test it, right? Because we can't create the same person 10 times and put that person in 10 situations. You'd have to build them exactly the same, like everything the same.
And the thing is like even, there are studies that go both ways as far as how much you take in during the gestation period when you're still growing as a fetus. And do those things impact you?
Yeah, right.
As an adult.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I highly recommend. I know you do too. What If? And people are just not going to be happy. I think we could. Like, I watched the Suicide Squad. And I went, there's no way people watch this movie and don't like it. The only way I could see you watching the Suicide Squad not liking it if you don't know what the movie's about. Like, you have no idea what it's about, and you watch it and you went, yeah, that was kind of weird. I think the average person that went to go see the Suicide Squad knew exactly what that movie was, and it was everything we wanted it to be. But yet, still haters. I would see just people going like, this movie sucked. I'm like, what? Don't tell me like the first one. And I mean, I've learned not to even engage anymore. Like in the past, I'd be like, oh, what did you not like about it? And it turns into this, what did you like about it? Science. Like, all right, dude, I'm done. Like I'm caring less, but I still see it, as people we follow. So, all right, so that's it. And on that, I did watch Roadrunner, the Anthony Bourdain documentary. And man, if you get a chance to see that, it is astounding. I really liked it a lot. It took the life story of Anthony Bourdain, who is one of my favorite personalities.
I would have never guessed that'd be the title for that.
Yeah, it was a rock song I think he liked by a band. It was called Roadrunner because he's always like running. He was always like constantly moving, always wanting to do something. But I just like his perspective on the world. I watch his show all the time, read his book, and I just like the way he saw the world, the way he interacted with people. But as we know, as we learn from other celebrities, just because we look at someone and we envy that person and we look up to them doesn't mean they're dealing with like some serious battles. You know, this is a man that ended his life, and you just never know. Look at Robin Williams was probably the best example of someone where people are like, what? Robin Williams? It's like, guys, have you ever met anyone like that happy all the time? Like I haven't. Like, I think people think I'm, beat for the most part, but my God, I still have days where I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do, so anyway, if you get a chance to see that, it's on, I don't know where it's at, but there's a bunch of great shows on HBO Max right now on Hulu. So you have no reason not to find something to watch. So, but definitely check out What If, especially if you're a Marvel fan. All right. Well, I think it's about time, John. I think it's about time we get to the Mount Rushmore. So we're going to go with the Mount Rushmore of cool band names. So, okay. So what is your criteria? I know that's kind of a silly question, but I think it's fair to ask. What is your criteria?
There's some things I kind of automatically threw out. If you're named after a place, or your own,
you're out.
Yeah, you're out. Your name.
Well, yes. So your original. So we
talked about different things.
And John's like, coolest band names named after a place. And I didn't even respond. You go, that's actually lame. And I was like, oh man. I was like, all right. So, okay. So continue. Yes.
Yeah. No names. So that takes out like bands like Van Halen.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I don't have Van Halen on my, I don't know about Van Halen though. Because it's a name. See, I wanted to have I love like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, but I went, nah, I can't do that because it's really just Tom Petty. I love that name. I think that, I even Elvis Costello and the Attractions, I'm like, oh, I love that name. But to me, it's more the weight of it's Elvis Costello.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, same thing with Bob Seger and the Silver Bullets.
Right.
Silver Bullets,
yes.
That's a cool name.
Right. Yeah. But, and so, yes, even if you were born with the cool name, your name, I guess. Yeah. Would Bob Dylan count though? Because that's not really his name,
Well, I was talking to my wife about it. My one exception would probably be like Fats Domino.
Okay, yeah,
that's a cool.
Now
name.
I don't have any. I do not have any names on mine. I don't have any names like Bob Dylan. I think would be a fair one to say. Like that's not really his name. Like or I'm sure there's other people I can't think of. But yes, okay. So generally no places. I didn't go any places. No names, but
no animals.
I thought no animals.
The Eagles.
Yeah.
Maybe like mythical creatures.
Oh
fine.
My God, you just made me think of another one. Okay, so anyways, I just think I looked at this. If I saw the name, I didn't know the band at all. Would I buy the album just based on the name? Would I go, dude? That sounds like a kick-ass band. They may suck, as a quote. One of my favorite movies, Wayne's World. Wayne walks up to a club. This is in the movie. Wayne walks up to a club. He walks up. He goes, who's playing? He goes, the Shitty Beatles. He goes, are they any good? He goes, no. He goes, I guess it's not a clever name then. Yeah. So I'm looking for clever names, things that will hook me in and also look cool. I also like, does it look cool? Does it look cool on an album cover? I even incorporate, can you make a pretty cool logo out of it? That didn't factor in as much, but that to me is also kind of important. So, yeah, so it's going to be, like I said, I have no idea what's on your list. You want me to go? I go first.
You go first because I went first last week.
Okay. All right. Well, let me pull up my list. So my first choice Oh, man, this is going to be a tough one. I'm not going to pull yours, John. I guarantee you. Okay, I'm going to go with... it's funny. This band name is not even on here, but I did think of it. And I just didn't write it down. You know what? I'm actually just going with my first one. I love the band name, Queens of the Stone Age. I love it.
It's a good one.
I think it rolls off the tongue well. It makes you intrigued. Because Queen is an interesting name of the band. Queen. This takes and goes Queens of the Stone Age. You're like, okay, that's okay. The initials kind of work. QOTSA. That's kind of cool too. So even I'm a fan of Queens of Stone Age, but first time I'd seen them, obviously I didn't. I was like, oh, that's an interesting name. Can you get my interest? And Queens of Stone Age actually makes, it's weird I bring them up because they were actually in the Anthony Bourdain documentary. Josh Homme was actually a friend of Anthony Bourdain.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't either to that thing. So yeah, so my first choice, Queens of the Stone Age. So all right, John, what you got?
Okay, for my first one, it's a name that just grabs you.
Okay.
You say the name and you're like, all right, now I have your attention.
How many of these am I going to go, John? You know, I always do. I'm like, John. All right.
You might.
Okay, go ahead.
But my number one, it's just it's a cool name. I'm not a fan of the band.
Okay.
But I mean,
if you say Bon Jovi, I'm out. I quit.
That's a name.
Okay.
So you're safe.
Okay.
And I am a fan of Bon Jovi, so that's.
Oh, that's true. You are a fan of Bon Jovi. That's true. I forgot about that.
But my number one choice is the Sex Pistols.
Oh, that's a good one. That was definitely okay. Well,
I thought you were going to take that one. I was worried.
Okay, I do think it's a cool name, but the only thing that hampers me that is when I was a child growing up, my parents would never have let me bought the Sex Pistols album because it had sex in the title. But that kind of works because it is kind of rock and roll. It is it is on my list. I'm pretty sure. Yes. Sex Pistols. How can you go wrong? 1976 punk rock band that was just. Yeah. Influential on the punk rock scene. Them, the Ramones, just really set the template for what punk rock would be for the next several years. They're the godfathers of punk rock. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. Come at me. If I was doing a Mount Rushmore of punk rock bands, hell, you got the Clash, Sex Pistols, and the Ramones. You can argue about the last one, but yeah, they're definitely great name. Fit their tone, snotty, crude, in your face.
Very anti-establishment.
Don't give a damn about anything. They just want to cause chaos and leave a scene. So, yeah. Oh, that's John, okay. I never would have guessed you would have picked the Sex Pistols.
I mean, it's a cool name.
All right, that is a good one. All right, so we got right now Queens of the Stone Age and the Sex Pistols. Okay, I'm gonna throw a little wrench in your plans. I do have a name. But it's a name in a band, but I think I like it because it's clever. It is one of my favorite artists of all time. And so you can fight me on this or not, but when I first heard the name, I loved it because I thought it sounded weird. The guy's name sounds weird anyway, but I'm going with Ben Folds 5. Ben Folds 5, okay? And the reason I like the name is there's not five people in the band. There's only three. So when you're watching the video, you're going, wait a minute. Why are these dudes called Ben Folds 5? And that actually wasn't supposed to be the name of the band when they first started. It was actually supposed to be something else. And I don't think they came up with a name fast enough, so the guy called Ben Folds, and he just said, just call us Ben Folds 5. And I don't think the dudes were very happy about it at all. But, I mean, what he's going to do. I've always loved that name.
I mean, he's the musically, he's the driving force behind it.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, the other two guys, very talented guys, very influential to the sound of Ben Folds 5. But I've always liked that name. Even when I thought band's name, I was like, what numbers can I put in our name to make this kind of cool? And I think throwing the number
5 together.
I used to think, honestly, I did want to name the band something like the Terrible 3 or something like that for a while, but not that, but something like that. Because I like numbers in band names. I do. I like numbers. There's something about it. I kind of dig it. I don't know why, but yeah. So I'm gonna go with Ben Folds 5 for my number 2.
All right.
All right, John. Who you got? It's your number 2.
I'm gonna go with a band. When you hear this the name,
okay,
and you're like, yeah, it's probably hard stuff.
Okay.
Guns N' Roses.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, that's another good name.
Guns N' Roses.
I thought you were gonna say Anthrax. I was like, which is definitely this is hard. It's a Pantera. Like this is a heavy band, but yeah, Guns N' Roses, great name. everybody knows Guns N' Roses. I would say the name probably had a lot to do with it. I mean, you've got the violence of the gun, you got the, feminine touch of the roses. And I think that really summed up their music. I think the reason they were so successful is because they could play to men and women, and there were songs for the dudes. There were definitely bangers for guys, but there were songs for women too in there.
Yeah. I mean, you got Paradise City for the guys, and you got November Rain for the girls.
Right. Yeah. So even Paradise City, the girls loved it too. It begins on, well, take me down Paradise City with grass green. The girls are pretty. I mean, yeah, they're like, here we go. So. Yeah, it's a good one, man. And you can take that band, has a lot of Axl Rose, great name. Slash, great name. Izzy Stradlin, great name. Are these their names?
Steven Adler. Okay, maybe not. They all can't be winners.
But I'm pretty sure Slash's name is Slash. But now Slash is just, it's like Sting. It's it's just him, the name. Now. Flea. It's the name. So. All right, good choice there, man. Good choice. Okay, so I'm gonna come up to my number 3, and
number 2. Wait, no, you're number 3. Oh,
gosh. Number 3, man. We're going too fast here. God, there's so many I love, but I'm just going to go with the one I want. I feel almost bad because I'm not going to have any, like, hip-hop on there, and I thought about, like, certain hip-hop.
There's one hip-hop band that's my honorable mention.
Yeah, I'll just throw them in honorable mentions. I'm going to go with a band from the 90s as well. I think of their logo. I think of the name. First time I ever saw them. I'm a big fan of this band as well. I guess I'm fans of all these. 9 Inch Nails. I love it. You know me, I love repeating letters. Blame your brother, right? Yeah. I mean, I love it.
The logo works.
Oh, the logo it's one of the best logos in rock music.
Yeah.
Okay. I know it's not the Rolling Stones lips, but of our era, how many logos can you think of? I mean, truthfully, like good
Weezer.
Ones. Yeah. Not like a lot of great ones, right? Yeah. But 9 Inch Nails, man. And the thing that works for them, the 9 Inch Nails, you think of a 9 Inch Nail. Obviously, it's a reference to Jesus, I believe. But you think of a 9 Inch Nail, you think of it's big, it can hurt you, it's nasty, it's a nail. It could be rusty. You don't know. And I think it really kind of speaks to their sound. I mean, their sound when they came out blew everyone away. It was industrial rock like it had never been done before.
Yeah.
Trent Rezner, one of the most fascinating people in rock and roll history to me. I mean, this guy's... I told you I watched a Netflix series with him where he was breaking down one of his songs on a series called Song Exploder. This guy, he gave so much thought to everything put in the song, it blew me away. And I went, this guy's a genius. Because, he's doing soundtracks now. He did it for the Social Network. He did one for Soul, the Pixar movie. This is Trent Rezner.
Oh,
right?
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, he's won multiple awards for this. So he did Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. He does a lot of soundtracks now, and you can hear it like in like Social Network. Go back and watch that movie and listen to the soundtrack. It is phenomenal. But 9 Inch Nails, man, one of my just favorite 90s bands, especially like their first couple of albums. I mean, it kind of faded off at the end a little bit, but you can't go wrong with their first 3 albums. I mean, Downward Spiral is one of my favorite albums of all time, but I love it. 9 Inch Nails, it's it, man. Like, you see that, I'm buying that. And back in the day, you really were buying these albums without listening to them. Like, you didn't have, like, some places had listening stations back in the 90s, but it was rare. So, all right, that's my number 3, John. You're
number 3, Kicking It Back.
Okay.
Kicking It Back. Probably one of the greatest bands ever.
Okay.
It's and funny that the name of the band came about because somebody made a comment about them forming a supergroup.
I already know.
And this is what somebody said about it.
I'm glad you're putting this on here because I did not have it on mine, but go ahead.
But
go ahead, say it.
Led Zeppelin.
Yes, Led Zeppelin, of course, man. Led Zeppelin.
The comment that was made, it was Keith Moon, Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, and someone else, and they were talking about if they were to form a supergroup, like that would be awesome. And Keith Moon was like, "No, if we formed a supergroup, I'd go down like a lead balloon." And Page was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I like that." And so he dropped the A so people wouldn't say lead.
Yeah, it's a good idea. That's genius, actually. That is freaking genius.
If you don't know what a Zeppelin is, it's a blimp.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I did not know about the drop in the A. I knew all the other stuff. That's great. Yeah. I mean, iconic name. Like, I mean, and it sounds so different than anything else out there. Zeppelin. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? But Oh, I mean, one of the greatest bands of all time, obviously. I mean, you know, if you were building a band pound for pound, best of their time, I mean, they were it. I mean, you know, you can say the Beatles were the greatest band of all time because of just their combination of interacting with each other. But Led Zeppelin, if you just took those guys separately and just put them in other bands, they're going to be the best guy in the band. Is Ringo Starr going to be the best guy in the band if he's on the Beatles? I mean, probably not. Let's be honest. Is George? I mean, was he the best in Traveling Wilburys? I would say no. I mean, he was very talented, and I love him. But yes, Led Zeppelin, fantastic name, and you know, people still wear the shirts to this day, and it's just a great name. Okay, I'm coming to the last one. I'm going to pick one you've never heard of this band, but they were in a documentary many years ago.
Hipster thing to say.
Well, it is, and it's actually kind of weird because God bless this band was featured in the Anthony Bourdain documentary. But I've loved the name for years. They were in a documentary called Dig, and it's like in 2006. It was a story of two bands rising up in their scene. Now, I love the name The Dandy Warhols. I love that name. I think it's fantastic. But the better name was the other band, who I think Dandy Warhol is the better band. But the name of the band is the Brian Jonestown Massacre. And I've always loved that name. I think it's one of the coolest ass names ever. It takes Brian Jones from the Stones and the Jonestown Massacre, combines it together. If that band was performing anywhere, and I saw that on a flyer, I'm there, dude. As much as we used to see Spider Virus here locally, was a local band in Nashville that slightly blew up. I saw Spider Virus. I went, I'm seeing that band based on the name alone. You know, Brian Jonestown Massacre, I'm there. I got to go see this band because I love that name. It's irreverent, it's clever, it's funny. So I think it's just a little bit better of a name than Dandy Warhols. But I love that name as well. That's also on my also rans. But yeah, Brian Jonestown Massacre is my final one. All right, John. All right,
my final one, I'm going to kick it to the 80s. The band name means something very negative, but I'd say this band's music is anything but. Big fan of them. And I'd say like some of their, not their biggest hits, but some of their offshoot and B-sides are like, I mean, if the Counting Crows were in the 80s. And I'm going to go with Dire Straits.
Dire Straits. There you go. Good name as well. Great band. I mean, Knopfler is an underrated guitar player.
Yeah.
I mean, the man can play. I mean, he's great. And the great thing about that band is when you think of MTV, and
you can't not think of them.
No, not the video. It starts off with "I Want My MTV," sung by Sting.
Yeah.
But my God, Dire Straits, great name. I mean, it's definitely one that sticks with you. You're like, Dire Straits, all right. And I see it like, that one, Sex Pistols, Led Zeppelin, kind of like, it's kind of weird, all these words together, but they work. Yeah, for sure. That's a good choice. Okay, well, let me go over our list. I got Queens of Stone Age, Ben Folds 5, Nine Inch Nails, Brian Jonestown Massacre, and John has the Sex Pistols, Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, and Dire Straits. Other bands that I am kind of sad I didn't get put on the list, but the Dead Kennedys, I love that name. I love the Deftones without DEF tones, great band. Marilyn Manson, I love that name. Kings of Leon, I think is a great name. The Clash. Outkast was the hip hop group.
That's the one I was. Yeah,
it's a great name. It's a good name, man.
I had a lot. The Clash was on my list.
Yeah.
Bowling for Soup, Nirvana.
I never liked
the Strokes.
Strokes is good.
For when they came out, Boyz II Men. I thought that was a good name for them.
Okay.
Toad the Wet Sprocket, Motley Crue.
Yeah, Motley Crue's a good one. Shit, we're gonna get shit for that, man.
The Pixies.
It's a good. Yeah, you got some good ones on there, man.
Let's see. The Rolling Stones, Simple Minds, When in Rome, Quiet Riot, Talking Heads.
Wow, John's got like 100.
I got a lot. Five for Fighting, Nine Inch Nails, like you had, Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, that's another good one.
The Offspring.
Dang it. Rage
Outkast, The Temptations.
That's a good one.
Iron Maiden, Green Day, Silver Sun Pickups, REM. I think if I had another choice, I'd have probably thrown REM on there just because of what it means.
Yeah.
Loverboy, The Killers. The reason why I put The Killers on there is because a lot of people don't know this, but at least one song per record that they have, it's a song about a serial killer.
Huh.
And it's like kind of,
you
don't know it.
Okay.
But it's a song about it. But it's done in a poetic way where it's not obvious.
Right.
And so for that reason alone, The Killers were on my list. My Chemical Romance, Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Yeah,
In Honor of Lee, Grateful Dead.
I had Grateful Dead on my list, and
The Who.
The Who's good. A lot of those I had in my head. Like Grateful Dead, I think is a great name. And if I had 8, Grateful Dead would definitely have made the list. I also one put on there that's kind of a side project that's affiliated with Queens of Stone Age. Is the Eagles of Death Metal. I love that. I think it's so good, and they're there's a decent band, for what they are. But yeah,
there was a few offshoots. Tinted Rear Windows.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah,
it was a good band. Okay, well, that was our list. I'm sure we're going to have many people jump out of the woodwork on this one.
Motley Crue.
It's impossible. Motley Crue is it's a good one, man. I didn't even think about it. Well, there's just, I mean, if you Google, there's hundreds of names, So those are the ones we like today. I mean, if we did the list in 2 months, probably be a completely different list. So that's how it goes. But that's the Mount Rushmore. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. All right, John. Well, we're coming up to the end of the show. What about CCR? Yeah, it's a good one, I guess. They in the chat they said Goo Goo Dolls, Blues Traveler. They're not bad, I mean, for the time, for sure. I mean, Goo Goo Dolls is an interesting one. Once again, you're like, Goo Goo Dolls, that's kind of a weird name, But The Replacements is another good one I like. But yeah, anyway, we could go on forever. We could just, the whole podcast, these are good band names. An honorable mention to Tokyo Pop Stars.
There you go.
Previous band. Okay, I just want to put this out since we're talking to music. Last night, I started listening to, I got these wireless headphones, like the kind I'm wearing now, but they're wireless. And I started listening to some, I just put on Spotify and put albums to listen to on headphones because, you get the action on both ends. You're getting stereo. Yeah. Man, number one, Radiohead. Every song Radiohead puts out is
another good band name.
Yeah, I thought about it. It's kind of corny though, but I still like it. But if you want to listen, if you get a new headphone thing, listen to that. But dude, I started listening to the Beatles. And everyone knows I'm a John Lennon guy, but my God, Paul McCartney's bass playing is the most underrated thing in music today. If you can listen to the Beatles albums just to hear his bass playing. I mean, and there's that new special on Hulu with him and Rick Rubin, which please go watch it because he breaks down. I was listening to Day in the Life, and I said, this is probably the greatest song ever written, in my opinion. There's so much going on in it. It's got orchestra. It's got John singing. It's got Paul singing. And his bass line in that song is one of the most kick-ass bass lines I've ever heard in my life. I mean, he is driving that song. And it's weird because the vocals start off on your right ear, and then they move over to the left ear, and that bass stays in your left ear, and it's just like tung, 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 tung. It's just, I know, man. I know the Beatles, yes. When people talk about the Beatles, I don't think I've never heard many people, and I've talked about the Beatles with many people, no one's really said, Paul McCartney is like an elite bass player. I think he is an elite bass player. I think he pushed these songs.
I think he played bass like he's playing a piano.
Probably, yeah.
And I mean, it's just not, you don't get that.
Right. So my suggestion would be this week, if you have headphones, earbuds, whatever, put those things in, find a quiet place somewhere, and go listen to a couple Beatles. I would say Revolver's a good one to listen to. Sgt. Pepper's obviously a good one to listen to. Abbey Road. They're all great, because back then the recording was different, and I love when artists utilize, when you only have one head. It used to be when you only had you had a pair of earbuds and only one ear worked. That kind of sucked to listen to for the Beatles, but now we've all got earbuds and all that. So I would just say that's my suggestion of the week. Go listen to some old Beatles albums, or if you haven't never listened to Radiohead and you don't like them, just listen for the sound, the ambience, man. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, that's the great thing about music. That's why I would say if you could go no movies for the rest of your life or no music, I'm saying no movies anymore. I cannot go without music ever again. I can't even imagine. So, okay, well, that is the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned a few things and maybe had a few questions about life, existential crisis problems, and then, our Mount Rushmore. And we're going to, ask that you go to our website, bybpod.com. That's where you go for all the old episodes. If you want to check out some great interviews we've had, we had freaking Shane Morris on, Georgia English, just in the past few weeks. Hopefully you've gone out and got our album. I think I've been listening to it more and more now, and I think it's a great album. It's so good. But, you can go listen to those past episodes with everybody. You can, just go listen to the old one. You said somebody's starting from episode 1. The episode 1 challenge, do it. And if you're not following us on TikTok, go do that. It's at Blame Your Brothers. So hopefully we can get a few friends on there, leave us a review if you've never done so. I mean, I'm sure some people listening have not. And whatever way you're grabbing, we appreciate it. Come subscribe to us on YouTube where you can check us out every Thursday night, 8 p.m. We'll be back next week doing the same thing here. And is there anything else you want to add, John? I mean, I'm not asking you for the catchphrase or anything you want to add at the end here.
I mean, I just really enjoyed talking about bands, but back to going to Counting Crows. If you have a chance to go see a live music, especially these unsigned bands like Georgia English,
right?
There is a chance that you can really change these people's lives. Becky Warren is going on tour with the Indigo Girls.
Crazy, I saw that.
And
awesome.
It's just like, that's amazing that we get to be, associated with her in any way, shape, or form, and her go from where she was to where she is now. And she definitely deserves it. And other people that we've, Trapper Haskins, Jen Star Cynic, and George English as well, they really deserve it. Because they are a force to be reckoned with when it comes to talent. And,
I know. I agree, man. It's crazy being in the same room with these people. Because you're just like, wow. Like, I mean, even like comedians we've had, like Laura Peak, you get around someone that's like that funny, like that talented, and you're just like unreal, I'm with John. Yeah, I mean, if you can go see a local show, now's the time. Because I don't know how much longer this is going to. Honestly, Garth Brooks just canceled like five next shows because of the. If you can do it, do it. If you feel safe, mask up if you have to, get, all that fun stuff. But yeah, John, I'll co-sign with you on that. So go see some live music. All right, John. Well, with all that being said, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother.